Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here. If you happen to be watching on Rumble, thank you so much. I so appreciate anybody who watches me there. Like I've said before, when I first started this Rumble channel, I was working at Global News and I just wanted to interview people and get information because I knew that what we were saying was totally bananas. So when I started my channel, I didn't want to be found. I've told this story before, but I named it this name, right? AK Straight Speaks, only because I didn't want to get in trouble or anything. But then, to hell with it. Yeah, I ended up putting my interviews on Facebook while I worked at Global because I was just like, look at what this nurse is saying. I had interviewed Corrine Maury. So I made a new Rumble channel name and I just called it Anita Krishna. So just as it is spelled here in the banner, no space, capital A, capital K. And I think it's kind of interlinked. I'm not too sure, but like if you've subscribed to me on the old channel, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to me on the new channel, just because it's a simpler name. I can just tell people I use my real name. I'm not a controlled op, whatever people think of anything out there. That's my real name. I'm not, that's who I am, right? So if I'm going to get into any trouble, it's too late. People already, that's my name. Also on YouTube, this was my old channel, but I really don't think my algorithm is going to let anything there see the light of day. So if you have subscribed to me over there, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to me on the other new channel I just made. The new channel name is AK47. Not because that like I like guns or anything like that. I just thought, well, those are my initials and that's pretty catchy. And sometimes when I type that in, all you see is like all the gun videos. So I hope that you can find me there and I hope that this works out. I'll put a link, like an actual clickable link in the description. And once again, I really do appreciate everybody's support on Rumble. So today I want to talk about the liberals. I mean, there was a huge liberal loss yesterday. I'm taping this video today. It's June 26th. And, a liberal stronghold of Toronto St. Paul, they lost that by-election. So the guy that won, his name is Don Stewart. He's a conservative. And the lady that lost was a liberal, Leslie Stewart. Now, since about 1993, that riding has been quite a liberal stronghold, and I'm way over on the other side of the country here in BC, so I don't pay, this is not on our radar as much, but for God's sake, we realize what a huge loss that was, because they've had the stronghold there since 1993, and I don't think that they were expecting this type of upset. So some people are saying, should Trudeau step down? I was even asked this by Steph from the Jimmy Dore show when she interviewed me. And at that, I was just like, he's not going to step down. I mean, the guy does not have the humility to step down. If he didn't have the respect for Canadians when the trucker convoy was happening, to come out and speak to people and talk to people, not only did he didn't even talk to the doctors that were speaking up. He just ran away and then started putting the horses out, arresting people, getting the cops out, and then freezing bank accounts. You and Chrystia Freeland for freezing the bank accounts. People don't like you. People don't respect you. People don't trust you. But if you could show no respect for Canadians and their choices then, we know that you won't show it now. And losing that liberal stronghold should be a big indicator to you that people don't like you, no matter what. And this is not about you're going to make other people sick. Like, that stupid mantra has got to go, because everybody's clued into you now. It's friggin' the middle of 2024. So they lost this. The thing is, like, I don't think he's going to step down, but I don't see how the Liberal Party is going to continue with him as the leader. Nobody wants to vote for him. He's tainted. He's stained the Liberal Party. People can see through everything, and the corruption that's going on. The foreign interference thing, the SNC Lavalin scandal, the We Charity scandal, all the things that have happened, and all the back channel judges he appoints so that all the court cases goes his way, to his dealings in the that into the money changing hands there. There's way too much corruption, and everybody can just see right through this. So the day before, on June 24th, Chrystia Freeland was holding a tiny press conference, and she was endorsing the Liberal candidate Leslie Stewart. And she said that's the better choice, because the other choice, if you vote for the other choice, um, you are cold, cruel, and small, which could also be her Tinder profile. But cold, cruel, and small. Cold, you froze bank accounts, literally freeze land. You're cruel. You don't care what's happening to Canadians who are sick and injured, or even to Canadians who are poor and struggling financially because of your stupid carbon tax driving up all the grocery prices, and the fact that this is a huge country of natural resources that you choose to ignore and run us into the ground, run our economy into the ground. I would say that is cruel. And as a finance minister, you're making poor choices and you are small. But then I'm small too, so I don't hold that against you. But listen to this, what she had to say.
That is Leslie's vision. That's the Liberal vision. The alternative is really cold and cruel and small.
And that did not go over well. There is one mainstream news anchor and reporter out there. Her name is Vassy Kapelos. She used to work for Global. I used to direct her, but I don't know if she knows who I am or knows me at all, because I was just a little voice in her earpiece saying, 3 minutes to go. Okay, camera two next, or whatever. She might not have known me, and I never worked with her that often or chit chatted with her. So I don't have a relationship with her, but I wish I did, because I would want to call her and just say how much I respect how much she's actually taking all these political liberals to task. I mean, she has everybody on her show because she's hosts Power Play on CTV. And because that's a major network show, she's getting the guests. I mean, if I invited any of these people to come and talk to me, or even like huge podcasters with big numbers, these people do not talk to anyone who's not in the mainstream. But because Vassy is in the mainstream, she's on the CTV network, she gets the people in the chairs and she asks them the question. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for her for taking people to task. I don't recall, and I haven't looked up what she was saying during COVID. I don't know if she was on maternity leave or anything like that, but man, oh man, we could have used her voice then. But I'm glad we have it now. So here is her asking Karina Gould. Now, anytime there's some sort of problem, they roll out Karina Gould. Do you remember she was pregnant, and when they invited the Nazi into Parliament there, into the House of Commons, Trudeau kind of answered for it a little bit, and then blamed the Russians, and then wheeled her out to speak about it. I don't know how this woman says yes. She should just be like, I'm on mat leave. I ain't answering any of these questions. But she went on with Vassy.
Hi, Minister. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thanks for having me, Vassy.
Minister, should the Prime Minister resign as leader of your party?
No.
Get right to it.
Why not? I take your point. It was close. It was 500 votes, but it's a 24-point swing from the last election. And by the way, Carolyn Bennett won 9 of them in a row. Deputy Prime Minister yesterday, in advance of the votes being cast, said essentially that the Canadians in that riding had a choice between the Liberals and the alternative, which she characterized as cold, cruel, and small. Why would your government label opponents of it like that?
Well, I'm not going to speak for the Deputy Prime Minister.
Can you understand how Canadians might find that disingenuous? Yesterday, your government is calling people who supported somebody else cold, cruel, and small. And today you want to engage and listen to them. Do you understand how that might fall on deaf ears?
Right on, Vassy. And she just has a look of disgust, like it's genuine disgust. It's very authentic the way Vassy comes off. So bravo.
You don't have the best interests of Canada in mind. I mean,
then why is your party calling them cold, cruel, and small?
But this is where I think it's important for us to reflect on some of those lessons.
To be clear, you don't believe people who voted for the Conservatives in this election are cold, cruel, or small?
No, I do not believe that. I believe that Canadians make decisions based on, the best information that they have. And I genuinely believe that every Canadian is making a decision because they believe that they're doing it in the best interests of Canada. They just have a different idea of how to get there.
Yeah. In the beginning of that interview, Vassy just said, "So should Trudeau resign?" As she just got right to it, which was great. But who would replace him? Who's the Liberal candidate that would replace him? When you still have to get through something, but you sound like you're going to cry. We don't feel bad for her, but that's kind of how she sounded the other day. Have a listen.
On behalf of rural communities across Ontario. Thank you very much. Really glad to be here with you to make this announcement. Our government is acting now and acting with purpose because we know that Canadians are counting on us. Thank you.
We will now take questions from media. It'll be one question and one follow-up.
Good afternoon, Marika Walsh with the Globe and Mail. Deputy Prime Minister, can the Prime Minister still stay on to lead the Liberal Party into the next election, given that you just lost one of the safest seats in the entire country last night?
Yes, he certainly can.
Yes.
Can you explain why? Because everybody we're hearing from behind the scenes believes that the result last night means catastrophic losses across the country. If you cannot win in Toronto under Justin Trudeau, why should anybody believe you can win anywhere else under him?
Our government is focused on working hard for Canada and Canadians and on delivering results for Canada and Canadians. That is what the Prime Minister is focused on. That is what we are all focused on. The Prime Minister is committed to leading us into the next election, and he has our support.
Next question.
Hi, Minister. Barbara with iPolitics. Still about last night's results in Toronto, St. Paul's. Do you think the Liberals need a radical change in strategy and that perhaps a new leader in the party might be a necessary change?
I just answered that question. Let me say the Prime Minister is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. Our whole government is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to do. The result in St. Paul's is certainly disappointing. We knew it was going to be a hard fight. I think it's especially disappointing because so many of us know Leslie. We know how hard she and her team worked.
Not hard
And
enough.
I do also want to congratulate Don Stewart. He and his team worked hard as well.
Oh, brother.
We know that these are hard times for Canadians. We
You're
know
putting us through
that
hard
we have
times.
to work hard to earn back their trust. And we know that the way to do that.
Sorry, just people are so frustrated with that. They keep saying the same things. We have to work hard for Canadians. And in 9 years, you haven't done anything. You haven't lived up to it. The proof is in your life. How is your life today compared to how it was back then? We don't buy this talk because it is just talk. You don't do anything.
By delivering fairness for every generation, by delivering investments in housing and infrastructure, including in rural broadband, the investment we're announcing today, by delivering investments in making life more affordable for Canadians with things like dental care, which is being rolled out this month to kids under 18.
Might I just say kids under 18? It used to be kids under 12, I thought. Kids under 12, you have baby teeth and generally very healthy gums, So I'm glad that they give the dental care to the seniors. Like my mom finally got hers. But in my whole lifetime, in her whole lifetime, there was no dental care program. Now you're doing that. You think you're going to win an election on dental care? When look at the housing, the economy, the carbon tax, the corruption. No.
By delivering on a national program of early learning and childcare.
Oh,
Already,
God.
families in Ontario are saving more than $8,000 per child.
She sounds like she's going to cry and that she doesn't even believe this. I mean, how long have they been going on about $10 a day childcare or cheap childcare? You wouldn't need any daycare at all if one parent could stay at home with the kids. And I wish I stayed home more than I did. It's my big regret. Well, I stayed home quite a bit, but because I was able to work at night. But you don't need daycare if you can have good wages and affordable housing.
but we need to get to $10 a day and be sure there are enough spaces.
How many years is it going to take you to get there? Don't bother. Raise the wages. Lower the cost of housing. You screwed up the market. I mean, I don't know.
For all the families that want a space.
Minister Freeland, Mark Ramsey with the Toronto Star. Yesterday before the by-election,
Well, I'll take one more.
Yesterday before the by-election, you said the Conservative choice was cold, rural, and small. Then Canadians in a riding that has been dominated by your party for years disagreed with you and made that choice. If you don't have your finger on the pulse with voters in Toronto, St. Paul's, which voters do you have an understanding of?
Thank you for the question.
Wow.
And, you know, this is a disappointing result for us. And we take the result really seriously. We know that Canadians are hurting right now. And we know that we have to work hard to win back their trust. We have to work hard to deliver for Canada and Canadians, to deliver with things like building more homes faster, to deliver with programs that make life more affordable for Canadians.
But building more homes, these are unaffordable homes. What are you going to have? 10 families in one house? So everybody works a bunch of different jobs to be able to pay the mortgage. You can't even, who's going to even have a down payment? And when they were talking about building homes before, they were talking about it at a rate that was so ridiculous. It was like building one house a minute, which was impossible. You haven't done this in 9 years. You just talk.
Like dental care, like early learning and childcare.
Can't listen anymore. It's, you know, and she does sort of sound like she's going to cry. And maybe it's about time because she sure made a lot of Canadians cry. That's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Just to remember, this was my old YouTube. So if you've subscribed over there, if you could please go to the next place, that would be wonderful, which is this one. And you can also follow me on Twitter to see what I'm up to. I'm going to do some live streams coming up. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the love and support and engagement and comments. I do read everything. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.